able to back them up. And in 4 months of the emergency and winter phase, I worked with them. I was presented with Tamga-i-Sar Medal from the President of Pakistan in 2006. Thank you. I started my own organization because something happened to me in Pakistan. A lot of people ask me, well, you know, why did you decide to stay in Pakistan? You're an American, and some, you know, Pakistanis, and very justifiably so, have a negative impression of some American policies and some American decisions and some American abandonment of the Pakistani people for many years. And why would you come to Pakistan and decide to stay there? Well, I can only tell you from my personal experience that when I first decided to go to Pakistan, I emailed some of my friends. I said, I'm going to Pakistan. Would you want to come with me? And some of my Gora friends, some of them said, well, I think you're crazy for going to Pakistan because they hate us, they don't like us, and I think you're putting yourself in great danger by going to Pakistan. And I said, you know what? As a musician, I would play all over the United States. And I would be in New York playing a performance, and I'd have a great time. And I'd leave to go down to Alabama, down in the south of the country. And I'd say, I'm going to Alabama. And the people in New York would say, don't go down to Alabama, because they'll hang you. That's how they are down there. I'd go down there and have a great time. Then I'd be in Alabama, and I'd say, I'm going to go back to New York. I have a performance. Oh no, they're going to steal everything you have. They're going to shoot you and mug you. And this is how it is in New York. So even in America, there are these misconceptions about people and places. The thing about the world, as you all know, and I know that the Holy Prophet has also taught this lesson, that there is a small group of people, in every group of people, who do bad things. And human nature is that we will often take a few bad people and subject that behavior as though it's the whole. And this is human nature. It's a negative side of human nature that we have to fight against. So when people told me don't go to Pakistan, I said no. I said I'm going to. I know that there's good people in Pakistan, mostly good people in Pakistan. They said, how do you know? You've never been there. Listen to the news. Look at the papers. Look at the bombings and the terrorism and this and that. And I said, you know what? I believe, because of what I have learned from being a musician and what I've learned about human nature, that I'm going to find good people there. I just guarantee you that I am going to find mostly good people there. And as you all know, I did find mostly good people here. Maybe 3 or 4 bad people. Maybe 4 or 5. But am I to judge Pakistan on 4 or 5 bad people that I met when I've met 5,000, 6,000 or more good people? So this is where I came from when I told my friends I'm going to Pakistan. If I had let fear and ignorance of Pakistan, if I had let that stop me from my compulsion to go to Pakistan, then I would have cheated myself out of a rewarding journey that God had put me on. I would have stopped myself from doing that which my heart told me, because my head told me, oh, maybe you could get killed, maybe you could get blown up, maybe what this, maybe this. Forget about all that. I wanted to go and help children in Pakistan who were hurt from the earthquake. Simple as that. I looked at my son, and I love him so much. He's the most important thing to me. He's 19 now. He's an honor student in university. But I looked at him at the time he's 14, and I saw when he was a baby what I would feel if he was injured like that, like I saw the children in Pakistan. And I want my son to have all the things that he's had in this life, education, healthcare, but I also think that the children of Pakistan deserve no less. Absolutely no less. They're beautiful. The only difference with the children of Pakistan, in fact, the Pakistani Americans and the Pakistanis I've met who've come to America, they don't just become successful, they go to the top. They build the Sears Tower. They start companies like Atif Mumtaz. They become the top doctors, the top engineers, the top businessmen, the top entrepreneurs. They are all so much in the top. Just now, there has been there's people that I know in the U.S. government who are Pakistani American who've risen to very top levels, and people that are very well respected amongst everyone in American society for their contributions and their accomplishments. Unfortunately, you never hear about them in the media, because the media in America only talks about when some bombing has happened, when somebody has shot up everything. They don't talk about the people like Atif Mumtaz so much. I don't understand why that's the case, but again, I think it's probably human nature. When the trains and the planes and the automobiles run fine all day and there's no wrecks and there's no problems, nobody hears about that. When everybody's doing a good job, that's not interesting news. But as soon as those two trains run into each other, everybody wants to see what happened. Everybody wants to take a look. Everybody wants to know what happened. So the news people, whether it's in Pakistan or whether it's the United States, people in the news, they're looking for that sensational, that thing that will get people's attention, because they know human nature also. It's too bad that human nature wasn't the other way around, where they would want to focus more on the good that it's done, instead of when somebody misbehaves or does a bad thing. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, getting back to my coming to Pakistan, within a week of leaving Hurricane Katrina, I arrived in Pakistan. I had never been to this country before, and I didn't know quite what to expect. The only thing that I knew is that I had a team of doctors to take care of so that they could help the patients and help heal them. So I get into Pakistan, I land in the plane, and this gentleman comes up to me and he shakes my hand. He says, "Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Aitazaz Ehsan." And I said, "Oh, hello, sir." I didn't know him. Honestly, I'm sorry, I didn't know who he was. Now I know he's a very big shot. But Aitazaz Ehsan picked me up. He took me to his home, fed me a nice dinner, him and his lovely wife Bushra. And from that point, I started learning about Pakistan, that this is not the Pakistan that I've heard about in the news, in the media. Then the next day, I got another thing. I went to the helipad at Chakala Air Base. Took a helicopter. General Farooq Ahmed Khan had deployed our team, told us to go to Gari Dupata in Azad Kashmir. I didn't even know about that place. I'd heard about Kashmir, but I didn't know exactly where I'd even landed when I first landed there. So I landed in a U.S. Army Chinook on the ground, and I was thinking, okay, when I talk to the Pakistani American doctors, obviously they know how to speak English, but maybe no one else will speak English, and I'll have a difficult time communicating. Well, I was very shocked. As soon as I got off the helicopter, a young lieutenant in the Army came up to me and he said, "Sir, may I take your bags? May I help you?" And I said, wow, Pakistanis not only speak English, but they speak English better than Americans do. It's funny because I learned later that they've learned the proper British system. And I know us Americans, we have destroyed the English language, so I'm sorry for that. Please accept my humble apologies for ruining what the British had done worked so hard at building this English language, and we have torn it down. So to me, it was very interesting that anyone from a lieutenant up and many educated people in the community knew this English language better than I, and spoke it more properly than I can speak it. From then on, I saw these, right as soon as I got off the helicopter, the smell of gangrene hit me. People whose injuries were so bad and whose wounds were so bad after not being treated, walking down the mountain, in some cases old men carrying their wives on their backs for 20, 30 kilometers down the mountain to find help. And their wounds were so bad that they had to, in some cases, amputate because you couldn't save the limb. That smell is a smell you'll never forget. It's an awful smell. It's a smell I never want to smell. But this is what I saw. I saw children with head wounds that you could even see their brain tissue, exposed limbs and bones. And I immediately saw another thing that told me about the strength of Kashmiri and Pakistani people.